Holy flippity flip flop flapping smokes, everyone. We're only weeks away from facing a crisis that we have never faced before. And our leaders have put us in this situation, and it seems like there's just crisis after crisis, and some people are starting to say it's all by design. We're facing a shortage of the very thing that runs and powers our economy, from transportation to farming to construction. But now, because of the huge mistakes our leaders have made, the whole country could come to a sudden halt unless something is done fast. And people, we're not only in a shortage of oil, but we're in a much dire situation, and we have a huge shortage of diesel. Look at this. Diesel supply of just 25 days poses problem for Biden, but really it is a problem for all of us. The Biden administration calls diesel supplies unacceptably low, and retail prices have been rising for more than 2 weeks. And people, the reason why this is so huge and why we have to pay attention to this is because how does the country run? How do all the goods get delivered? That's right, by trucks. What do these trucks run on? Diesel. If they stop working, well then transportation comes to a halt. What do a lot of farming equipment run on? Diesel. So if they run out of diesel, well then food production is going to run out. And construction, shipping, and trains will be affected as well. Listen to this, diesel demand is surging in the US while supplies remain at lowest seasonal level ever. The shortage of the fuel used for heating and trucking is a key worry for the Biden administration heading into winter. And people, this is going to be, I think, the toughest winter we have faced in decades. Food prices are skyrocketing, gas prices are skyrocketing, so to heat your home is becoming very expensive. I just recently got my gas bill and nearly fell off my chair because gas prices are skyrocketing right now, and it's only going to get worse. And now on top of these two things, we're facing a diesel shortage, and a large part of the country actually uses diesel for heating. So again, the US has just 25 days of diesel supply, the lowest levels since 2008, according to the Energy Information Administration. I keep seeing 2008 everywhere where I'm doing these comparisons of data. So people, this tells us that this recession we're going to face is going to be just as bad, if not worse, than 2008. And if you can't afford to buy food, if you can't afford to heat your home, if you can't afford gasoline, it is a depression. While weekly demand dipped slightly, it's still at its highest point in 2 years amid higher trucking, farming, and heating use. Look at this chart here, US diesel supply crunch worse since 2008. Supplies fail to catch up with rising demand from trucking, farming, and heating. People, this has the potential to be a complete disaster because these trucks supply these grocery stores with food, and a lot of the time these grocery stores only have about 3 days worth of stock. So if the US does, for whatever reason, run out of diesel and these trucks can't deliver food for 3 days, then things are going to get crazy, and that is without panic buying. The diesel crunch comes just weeks ahead of midterm elections and has the potential to drive up prices for consumers who already view inflation and the economy as a top voting issue. Retail prices have been steadily climbing for more than 2 weeks at $5.32 a gallon. They're 50% higher than this time last year, according to AAA data. This is absolutely devastating, people, and I don't know how the middle class can take it much longer. I think eventually people are going to hit their breaking point very soon. We are copying price hike after price hike. Grocery prices are skyrocketing, rents are skyrocketing, and like I said here, diesel is now 50% higher than a year ago, but they're saying, CPI is only 8%. There's nothing really to worry about. You know what? Maybe we should start cutting interest rates. People are speculating that the Federal Reserve is going to reverse some of their rate cuts. This is going to lead to much higher inflation, and it's going to be devastating. Nationally, stockpiles have drained as refiners entered maintenance season and as Russia war in Ukraine tightened global supplies and limited imports. Market backwardation, where prompt deliveries are priced at a premium over the future deliveries, has made building inventory extremely costly, feeding into a vicious cycle of tight supplies and price spikes. In New England, where more people burn fuel for heating than anywhere else in the country, stockpiles are less than a third of typical levels for this time of the year. So we can see this pink line is the average from 1933 to 2021, and we can see here how low the supplies are, and this is heading into winter, and these people rely on diesel for their heating. So if you're watching from New England, you may want to start stockpiling now before it's too late. And it just keeps getting worse, people. Look at this. American diesel shortage will exact a heavy toll. And diesel has hit $200 a barrel. Currently, the US has just 106 million barrels of diesel and heating oil in commercial stocks. Last time inventories were that low in mid-October was in 1951. When Truman was in the White House, typically inventories should be 30% higher this time of the year. And what also nobody else is talking about right now is the US is draining their strategic petroleum reserves. Also, they're running low on diesel right when global tensions around the world are running hot. What happens if the US all of a sudden gets involved with a conflict with Russia, with China, Taiwan, etc.? Well, if they don't have the fuel there to fuel the tanks, the jets, the ships, well, it's not going to work out too good for us. And this is why they have to fix this shortage right now, because it's putting us in a very weak position. Such low levels are alarming because diesel is a workhorse of the global economy. It powers trucks, vans, excavators, freight trains, and ships. A shortage would mean high costs for everything from trucking to farming to construction. That's right, everyone. It is a fuel for the economy. And we just got some new economic data to show the economy is slowing. Look at this, US business activity weakens again in October, S&P Global survey. S&P Global said on Monday its flash US composite PMI output index, which tracks the manufacturing and services sector, fell to 47.3 this month from a final reading of 49.5 in September. So what that simply means is companies, wholesalers, they aren't buying stock. And any reading under 50 is a contraction. And they thought maybe it'll come in at 50, 51. It came in much weaker than expected at 47. And guess what? If businesses can't even transport the goods to their customers, what do you think is going to happen to the economy then? But we've just got some more breaking news. The US diesel crisis is here and is spreading along the East Coast. Price spike in areas with delivery delays and truck shortage. Suppliers are now requiring 72 hours notice for fuel delivery in the Southeast. At times, carriers are having to visit multiple terminals to find supply, which delays deliveries and strains local trucking capacity, the note said. And now even Goldman Sachs is weighing in on the situation with some dire warnings for us all. Diesel shortage this winter to push fuel prices higher, Goldman warns. Diesel markets resist policy efforts to tame energy inflation. Goldman revises retail fuel prices for next year higher. The bank warned that many of the government's efforts to fight high energy prices focus on crude and have little impact on fuels, for which consumers actually pay. People, I'm very, very worried with how low our fuel supplies are getting. Like Goldman Sachs is warning, this means the pain at the pump is only just going to get worse next year. Right at the time when everyone's speculating that the central banks are going to pivot, lower interest rates, they think inflation's peaked. No, inflation is only going to get much, much worse. And again, why are we having shortages of everything all of a sudden? We've had great supply over the past couple of decades, but it seems like in the past 2 years, we're running low on everything from food to fuel to energy. What is going on and what are our governments doing? Well, no, we can't put our faith in them to protect us, so people, I urge you to prepare now. Get the daily essentials you need if you haven't already. Food, water, look around your house, figure out what you need, just in case of the unlikely scenario that the country does come to a standstill or there is very long delays. But everyone, what do you think about this? Let me know down below. Now, for my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.